All right, well, let's jump right into it today. Today I'm sitting down with two wonderful people. They've had a massive impact on my life, so I'm excited to give them a small platform to kind of share their stories. I'm joined here today with Mike and Cam from Infinite Fitness. If you both want to just say hi quick and introduce yourselves.
My name is Mike Fernandes. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having us on here. I'm excited to share, our story and kind of how Infinite came to be and really the mission behind it and the team that we've kind of created. So super
That's
excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's ditto, Mike. I'm Cameron Jones and super excited to be here. Thanks for the opportunity, Cory, and ready to get going.
Let's do it. So the first question, Infinite. Mike, I believe this is your kind of baby that you started with, correct?
Yep.
How did it come to be?
So what's really, there's a very long backstory to it. I don't know if we have enough time for the full story, but long story short, playing baseball in high school, I had gotten injured. My shoulder started popping, subluxing. Doctors told me I was going to need surgery, and when my career was over, when I went to college, I actually couldn't hit in college. I could only pitch. And as I got more into strength and conditioning, I started to basically rehab myself. And seeing all the guys on the baseball team, everybody doing the exact same training program, but even though everybody was all different levels and different positions and all that, just never really made sense to me.
Okay.
So that's where the premise behind Infinite started to come. And then, from the years of spending time in like the box gyms and seeing people, get on the treadmill and just spin their wheels and be nervous about training and about using weights, it was like, man, like something needs to be done about this. So that was kind of really what was the starting point. Mm-hmm. And, it's evolved so much over the last, God knows how many years at this point. But, I've been doing it for over 20 years.
Wow.
But that's kind of really the roots of really kind of where it started.
So it started from your kind of sports background, seeing it all and wanting to make a change.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's important about it, and we say this all the time, is athletes and people, they're all the same. They all need different things. And to pigeonhole somebody and have somebody come in and just say, oh yeah, you want to come and get a gym membership, like, oh, come on in and sign up. It's like, it's really doing people a disservice. So, how can we possibly in good faith recommend a program to somebody if we don't know really where they want to go? We don't know where they're physically at. We always use that analogy of like a GPS, right? Mm-hmm. You don't just get in your car and open up your phone and get directions somewhere. It says, where do you want to go? What's your current location? If we don't know those two things, how do we get you the results you're looking for? Otherwise, we're just getting you the results we want. So if we don't know how you move, how can we program for you? We have to evaluate that. We have to look at all of those things first. So, and that's kind of, it started with as an athlete, but, as it kind of grew, we realized that, this isn't just about athletes. This is adults too. They all do different occupations. They all have different imbalances, different restrictions. The same thing applies to everyone.
Yeah, so, that's awesome. So, Kim, how did your fitness journey start?
Yeah, so my fitness journey...
Fitness journey and then Infinite journey.
Sure, so my fitness journey didn't start...
we played a part in that. We played a part in that journey.
They sure did. So my fitness journey didn't really start until I was in college.
Okay.
For a long time, I was actually super overweight.
Okay.
And once I went to college, it kind of hit me that this is something that's going to need to change. Okay. So I actually went on it on my own, and I started to lose weight, and I actually ended up losing like 60, almost 70 pounds from where I was. And that was kind of the beginning of my fitness journey and where it started. But Infinite's a little bit predated to that. So Infinite started when I was still in high school.
Okay.
And we were in our previous location. My younger brother was kind of the test guinea pig for this too.
Yeah.
He had gone to Infinite first. My mom had been training there for a little bit too. And she basically said, like, you want to try it, Ryan? My brother is really, he really enjoys it. Do you want to give it a go? And I said, sure. I'll give it a try. And my shy, anxiety-filled little self walked in those doors, and Mike evaluated me. I met Mike and the rest of the guys at the time, and it didn't feel like a normal gym. It really didn't. And that's something that I think we hear a lot from a lot of different people is like, this is not a normal gym. Yeah. And that's why when I talk about Infinite, I don't like to even call it a gym because it's a lot more than that. And what we provide is a lot more than that. So, I had started there. I honestly was only there for probably like 6 months, maybe even less, to train for baseball. In high school, I wanted to make, my goal was to make varsity.
Yeah.
And awesome. I did. I actually did that year, and then I quit. I quit Infinite, and I played the rest of my high school career out, and I went to college and obviously went through my fitness journey there. And then towards the end of college, my junior year, in that spring semester, I had gone through, since I was a freshman, 2 or 3 different internships in the sports world, and what I was majoring in was sports management. Nothing was clicking for me. Nothing. I worked in sales, marketing, front office, game day operations, everything. Even field operations, just to see if that, got my rocks off, and it didn't. And so I basically was like at my wit's end with it. I was almost thinking about switching my major towards going into my senior year. And it dawned on me, for whatever reason, I said, Ryan still trains at Infinite. I was like, what if I reach out and just see if they have any opportunities to check out the physical side of training, the physical side of the sports world. And I reached out. Mike got back to me pretty soon. If it wasn't that day, it was definitely within a few days, and offered his help to me and said, we have some internships available. Why don't you come down? Why don't you come, see the new place since you haven't been here in a long time, and let's talk about it. And from there, man, it just I fell in love really with what Infinite is and the mission that we do and that we believe in, and then also just what our job involves, which is just helping people, right? Really at its core. So there's my story.
That's an amazing story, and I didn't know that. That's incredible. And you both touched on it, where Infinite is not just a gym. There is clearly a different culture that you guys are creating. And was that an intentional culture, or is that something that started to organically happen within the gym? I know one thing that I love is your win board, or when you want to give someone recognition, you'll ring the bell. How did those start to come up, or is that kind of calculated a little bit when you're like, hey, here's the culture I want to build, here are the things that I think are important, and we're going to really push those, or did that just kind of organically happen?
So I think, some of those have happened as time has gone on. It didn't start that way. The culture really, I think it starts with the team, right? So it's the mission of, making a difference and changing lives. And when you have a team of guys that really believe in that mission, they foster that. So people see that, man, these people truly care about me. So, I always say people don't care what you know until they first know you care, right? So that's one of the first things that we kind of foster that. And so when your coach is putting everything they've got into you, it kind of breeds a little bit of energy, right? And so as time has gone on, we've come up with some other ways to recognize, hold people accountable. Because that's ultimately when we work with the separating the two, like athletes and adults, it's kind of two different ends of the spectrum in terms of, you might have an athlete that's very motivated. They see a scholarship in front of them. They see a professional contract in front of them. But then you have the mom and dad who's super busy. They're cutting, Mary and Johnny all over the place. They got their own work to do. They got to pay their bills, all this stuff. And it's just like, that's not really what they want to do. They just know they got to do it to be healthy. Like those people need that extra accountability. They need that support. So we found, especially, and this is us as a team kind of coming up with this. We found that as COVID kind of happened and everything was super negative. Everybody is, you know how it is. People will be, they'll be driving to work. They get stuck in traffic for 2 hours and they'll ruin their entire day. And so we have this thing. I mean, I say it all the time. It's one of Fernandes' family value. We only have good days and great days. And I try to put that into perspective all the time. And I think that's really where the premise of the wins board kind of came. It was like, you had 5-6 good games in a row and then you had one bad game. Why are we dwelling on it? Like, let's find the positive in life. Like the fact that you could walk in here on your own 2 feet today, like, man, somebody would kill for that opportunity. Like, let's put it into perspective. And so we wanted to start highlighting those things. And so as we put our heads together about kind of the member experience, and this is something that we're always trying to improve and to separate us from everybody else, is we put some of those things in there. Our frequent sweaters, we put our bell of achievement, we put a lot of different things in there that have really helped to kind of lift that culture even to a next level and recognize people, because it's one thing to be recognized by your coach and all that, but it's super important, and it really drives that accountability when you see all your peers in there know that you accomplished this, and now the pressure's on to keep it up.
100%
kind of thing. So, but I'm sure Cam has stuff he can want to say about that too. But I just, it's kind of how, and it's going to grow more. We're going to be doing more things.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's everything you said is true, Mike. And I think as much as we'd like to believe it, that everything is planned and calculated, a lot of it's not. and it kind of just comes from instinct, intuition, and what is the right thing to do when it comes to what we do. And I think that's super important with anything when it's when you're thinking about what should I do or how do I make this experience better for somebody. So all those things that we have are planned to an extent, but really they came through like, hey, how can we make this experience better for the individual? How can we deliver or over deliver, right, more for everybody that's involved with us?
No, that's amazing. And again, I love it because I felt it. I felt the same motivation when I walk in. And what I love is that all of the coaches will come and say hi to every single person that walks in the gym. And I've noticed it. It's a little detail, but every single person that walks in. And if you don't say hi to them,
high five to Kim on that, because we've been. That's something that we as a team have been working on for years because it's so super important.
It makes you feel like you matter. They know you. I know when I walk in, if Cam hasn't seen me in a few days, he's gonna say, "Hey, what's up?" But I haven't seen you. Wait, where you been? How's things going? How's your life? I was here in this room and John called me. I know John's not here right now. I played it on speaker for everyone to hear. That he was, because he goes, "Hey, I saw you yesterday. You seemed like you were having a bad day. I don't think you finished your plan. How are you? Just want to check in, make sure everything's all right with you." And no one's ever checked in on me like that. I remember playing it here and being like, look what they did. It was incredible. And I think that could have been Cam, it could have been Jameson, it could have been Jeremy, it could have been anyone. But that level of care into the people, it really truly does feel like a family, and it resonates. And I think that, again, it's a top-down culture on your team. But I've never experienced anything like that before in a professional life, in a personal life. Never mind from a gym, and I don't even want to call it a gym anymore after hearing you guys say it. It's just not something that you see. It's incredible. And I think you guys work with athletes, but you also work with washed up athletes like me, who think, and I think that's the funny part of it is, I personally had incredible anxiety about going for a gym. I thought I was super small, I was scrawny, I was incredibly...
Not anymore, baby.
Yeah, we're getting there. Listen, we're getting there. It was so intimidating for me because when I pictured a gym, I pictured I'm walking in, everyone's huge, everyone knows what they're doing, everyone's headphones in, not personalized. People were gonna make fun of me if I was doing something wrong or I didn't know what I was doing. It has been the complete opposite experience of that. And I think that's incredible for me. And I'm sure other people, and I've seen, and I enjoy seeing some of your student athletes working out. It motivates me. It also cheers me up a little bit when you walk in and you just see, again, younger kids having fun, but just taking themselves seriously, taking their health seriously, taking their fitness seriously. And then you see some of the older people in their training just as hard. And I personally get a little bit competitive when I see some of these younger athletes and they're jumping up, seeing how high they can hit. And I'm like, oh, let me see how high I can jump. Let me see if I can get another rep. Let me see what I can do. And there's a good push-pull. But then another thing that I've noticed that happens a lot is just these small micro conversations where someone who might be older is talking to someone who's younger, who had a bad day in school or a bad test or is fighting with, again, just kids stuff, high school drama, whatever it is. And I've seen coaches, but even just regular members, pulling them aside, having these one-on-one conversations just about life in general. And to me, I think that is so cool. And that is a testament to the culture of not only of your team, but also the members that you've curated, so to speak.
I think, you're hitting the nail on the head because it's funny. I mean, I have a few funny stories like over the years of that, but you're right. And it starts really with that initial, so we spend an hour to an hour and a half with every person that comes through our door before they ever even step on the training floor. And that's to make sure that we're a good fit for each other. Like, I know that I've personally turned away several people over the years that I just didn't feel it was a good fit. I remember this guy, one of our first locations, coming in with a wife beater on. He's got his jug of water and pre-workout, whatever he had in there, his BCAAs. He comes in, he's like, I just want to use the equipment. I was like, we don't have that here. Like, oh, come on, I'll pay for membership. I just want to be able to use this stuff. I'm like, that's just not what we do, man. That is not what we do. If you have a clear vision of what it is that you want to accomplish and what you said, take that nervousness and that anxiety, and you look at a female, a mom who's, in her 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s, times that by 10. And so it's our job to kind of foster that when people come through the door. And we're basically making sure we're a good fit. This is the expectation. This is what we're going to do for you. But you got to do the work. Mm-hmm. You got to show up and do the work. And we're going to take care of the rest of it. And we honestly just had somebody signed up their child who came in because of word of mouth. They saw our video on us and stuff like that. And basically their child had been getting bullied and all of this stuff at school, and they brought it in, and kid is loving it. It's like, that is not going to happen here. We have professional MMA fighters that are like going over and like patting people on the back, and our professional and college athletes, they train, they don't have preferential treatment. They train at the same time all of our other athletes train. Same time as our adults train, because we're human beings. We're working towards the same goal, and that's success in life. It's success in life. It's not just about sports. We say building champions in life and sports all the time. And I care, and Cam cares, I know, because he believes in this mission so greatly too. And our whole team does. That I care way more about developing successful people than I do about getting somebody in great shape, than I do about getting somebody a college scholarship. And you know what? You can be in great shape, but not be a good human being. We want well-rounded. We want you to be in great shape. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be a good mom, a good dad, a good brother, a good sister, a good son, good husband, good wife, and be fit. Be leading by example to lead this charge. I mean, there's more gyms around now than ever before. And what? The obesity problem is higher than ever. Like, that's crazy to me. And I mean, I can go on about all of that stuff, but I don't know. I get excited talking about it, and
it's good.
It's crazy. So
with competition, you mentioned it, a lot of gyms. Now, a little bit of business side of things. There's a ton of competition out there right now. We've seen an explosion, and again, people selling plans. You go online. How are you either pivoting from that, or how has your business been affected from that? And from the business side of things, what are you doing besides the culture stuff, or if anything, right now to kind of separate yourself? And then future plans of how you're going to continue to grow, if any, right now.
Sure. I mean, I can tell you, Kim, if you want to talk about any of that first, I'll
go ahead.
gladly jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, and I'll piggyback off you.
Sure. So I always laugh about, because there, like I just said, there are more gyms now than ever before. And when you think about the typical box gym, right? It's a $10 a month gym. Sounds fantastic. But I always say, like, imagine all you're doing at those places is you're paying to rent the equipment. Imagine if I found this expert contractor that builds these $1 million homes, and I was like, hey man, can I give you $10 a month to use your tools? And he's like, sure, you can use them 24 hours a day if you want. And I'm like, oh, awesome. What are the chances I'm going to take those tools and I'm going to go build $1 million mansion like that guy did? Right? Slim to none. I'm going to go home, I'm maybe hammer a few boards together, be like, man, this isn't working. Same analogy to the person getting on the treadmill. And eventually, it's $10 a month. I'll let it go for a long time. But eventually, I'm just going to quit. And then, New Year's comes, I'll be like, let me try that again, $10 a month. We're about getting results. We don't want to rent equipment. That's why we have coaches calling you. We know, I used to be a school teacher, and we had this analogy that, teachers can't teach an empty chair. It was a red desk that sat in the lobby at every school. Teachers can't teach an empty desk. Coaches can't coach an empty spot. We're not about making money off people not showing up. We're going to make money by getting results. The last thing we want is somebody going out there and being like, oh, I train an infinite. But they're hurt, they're not in good shape, they're like, oh, I don't want to go to that place. That doesn't happen. So yeah, to your point about culture and all those things, we do it. And it starts from the internship coming up. Like we always say, trainers train people, coaches change people. There is a difference. If you're in this industry because you love working out and love training, good luck to you, because you ain't going to last long, I promise. But if you're really in this industry because you're truly passionate about changing somebody's life and helping someone, man, this is such a rewarding career. So rewarding.
I think one other thing to add to that too, that you always say and that we preach as a business, right, from a business standpoint, is competing on value, right? Don't ever look to compete on price. It doesn't work. You're going to get outperformed, especially by those larger corporations. Compete on the value, over deliver what you're doing, and think about the person. Do it for the people and not for the money, and you'll have a lot more success that way too.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of adversity. You mentioned about how we've been impacted over time. I mean, COVID's a great example. And you have to fall back to your values and your vision. We were forced to close for 4 months. We still paid every expense. We kept every coach on payroll.
It's a lot.
And it is a lot, especially in an in-person business like that where people are coming into you. We had to scramble. And, it goes back to the values. It goes back to really who you are as a human being. And like, those were some long days. And like, I just remember saying like, man, I have to lead from the front for my guys, and for when my kids get older. I want them to see my dad is like a grinder. Like there's no quit. Like that's one of our values. Like we never give up. Fernandes family value. We never give up, man. And it was like, it was tough, man. It was tough. Yeah. But we fought through, and I knew my kids were watching. How is dad going to respond to this? And I had to lead from the front with a smile on my face every day, because there's only good days and great days. Yeah. Is what I always say, right?
Do you get a lot of motivation from your kids?
Absolutely, dude.
I can hear you talking about it. I asked a question that I already knew the answer of.
I can't even talk about it.
No, fair enough. I get it. Yeah.
Being a dad, being a great dad, being a great husband, being a leader to impact people is something I take to heart every day.
I believe it. You can tell by your passion.
day.
It's incredible, and what you've built resonates that. Now, Cam, you mentioned your kind of weight loss journey. I had no idea about that. Congratulations, first and foremost, man. You're a beast now. you're incredible.
Thank you.
Now, fitness-wise, besides physically changing someone's appearance, how have you seen people change by prioritizing fitness in their life? The kind of ancillary benefits throughout their life, whether it be mental health, physical health, obviously, but even just better career, maybe better performance in school, things like that.
Yeah, all the above, right, is what I can say. And it's different for different people, right?
Yeah.
Everybody comes to us, every person comes to us with a different life, with different needs, with different challenges. And like we just said, Mike just said it, trainers train people, coaches change people. So we want to look at each person as a whole, not just for what they need physically. Mm-hmm. So we'll have kids, that come to us and we meet with them. And, one thing I always ask them, if it's a student, a kid, how's your grades? Are you a good student? Do you show up to school consistently? Do you stay out of trouble? And sometimes the answers are no, or my grades aren't so good. And I think that's super important to touch on because it's something that we challenge them to do as well outside of the gym. You're going to spend with us, 4 hours a week maybe at the gym. That's a lot of time outside of the gym that you're going to be responsible for your success. There's a lot more to being successful in life than just training, being successful in sports than just training. So challenging them and helping them if they need it, sitting down. You wouldn't believe how many times Mike and I have sat down with people to go over their schedules, to set up tutors for them, for kids that need it, to talk about issues in their life that are challenging them, whether it's personal, emotional, social. And that's really, how we overcome and how we help them overcome those challenges is by spending the time with them and letting them know that we care about those challenges. So we've seen kids with grades and highlights that you can go look back on where they took a grade from an F to an A in the course of a year in math, or maybe they went out and they tried to make more friends and they were able to get into a friend group, and now they're getting invited to parties and to things like that which they had never been invited to before. And that's the stuff that's super meaningful, right? Because you see the training results and that's great and all, but you see somebody and they come to you and they go, hey, I got an A on that test. All right, and they have a huge smile on their face, man, a huge smile. Or like I said, I got invited to a party, right? I'm making more friends at school, or I'm staying out of trouble more. That's the stuff that really matters. That's the stuff that motivates me and keeps me going, and that I love to hear.
It's actually awesome. We had a middle school adjustment counselor reach out to us recently and said, hey, you're not going to believe this. You ran that program here last year, and more than half the kids that took part in the program with you guys had never played sports before, and they all went out for sports in the spring, and they all went out again this year. We got to find a way to get you guys back here, because the impact, as Cam just said, it's on so much more than just fitness. It's the psychological well-being. I mean, I can show you test scores. Childhood obesity right now, there's a study not that long ago that came out that 20% of adolescents that are overweight seriously contemplate suicide. And it's like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Like, it's just like you need to change the kid. You need to get to the kids if you want to change the future. And that's on an individual basis. We could tell you, we could share success stories with you of like so many awesome ones that bring a tear to my eye just talking about them. Yeah. But amazing. And it all comes back to having the right team of guys that truly believe in this mission, because not all of it is the X's and O's. And we teach that to interns out of the gate. It's like, all the X's and O's, like, that's great, because that's only a small part of it, really. Like, you need to know those X's and O's. But, that's not going to make you last in this game. So what do you look for in a good coach then? I look for their values. Okay. And one of the reasons we hire, for the most part, of our internship. So funny, maybe not so funny. Over all the years we've been doing this, only a couple times have we hired outside of our internship. Mm-hmm. And every time we've done that, just about every time, this didn't work out. The values aren't there. You know how it is in an interview. Mm-hmm. Like, people can fake that interview. Mm-hmm. And I think, when you get to know somebody's values and that they truly believe in the mission over that time of the internship, you make sure you're a right fit. I want them to make sure that we're a right fit for them too. And like we know that they know the X's and O's because they're coming in like that. And that's another cool part about the internship. We're not grabbing, weekend certification guys. We're grabbing guys that are coming in and girls that are coming in that are getting their degree in exercise physiology and exercise science and strength and conditioning and all those things, right? But again, that's a small part because we've had some of them come through before too that have all the knowledge, but not a very good coach. So like if I have two coaches and I have one coach that can get you to do the work and I have another coach that knows all the stuff but can't get you to do anything, which one's going to be better?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of, and I from a business perspective on my end too, I've always had success building within because they already understand the culture, they know the values, they know what you're doing. When someone comes in from the outside, they have their own beliefs, their own systems, and they're trying to integrate in. But if it hasn't been fostered in that environment, it's never going to connect and resonate the same way.
I think it's funny. One of the things we say to like coaches now, like interns coming in, is like people know the name of Infinite. Everybody's kind of heard of Infinite, like, which is fantastic. Good. And it's super like rewarding.
Yeah.
But I always tell them that they come into here being like, oh, I'm coming into Infinite and now I'm going to be a great coach because I'm at Infinite. But I always say like the name doesn't make the coach. The coaches make the name. The coaches make the gym. This isn't Mike that made this gym. This is the team of guys that some of them are not even there now.
Yeah.
Guys and girls that have been part of this team over the years that bought into the mission, that loved it and played a huge part in helping people. It's all of them that have played a part in making Infinite what it is. And I mean, when you have athletes that travel and stay like with host families to train with you, I mean, that's pretty damn rewarding.
It's incredible.
And when you have somebody lose 120 pounds, that's pretty damn rewarding. I know you can find facilities that have done, other athletes, some that have trained people for weight loss, but there's very few you can find that have done both. So that goes back to the individualization that we were talking about and making sure that you have the right program for the right person. You can pigeonhole people into a program.
Yeah, and that's what I liked. It was very curated based on our conversation, what my wants are, what my needs were. You listened and structured plans around that. And I think, again, I'm not an athlete right now, but I had a specific plan that I wanted, and everything has been built and curated around that. And I can tell around the gym, not everyone has my same plan. It's all unique built to them. And I know I've spoken to John. He's like, oh, I took 3 hours on your plan the other day. I really focused in on it. And I'm like, oh, wow. It's not just cookie cutter. All right, I made this plan for this person. I'm going to replicate it across the board. It's person by person. You guys are putting in hours probably to develop these plans every four weeks.
Ultimately, like Cam said, whose goals are they? Are they your goals or are they our goals?
Yeah.
Are we building you how we want you to be? Or are we going to build you based on what you need and what you want? Like, yeah, some of those things you need, like, we're going to need to put them in there no matter what.
Yeah.
But we need to know what it is that you want. We need to know where you are to get you there. So, super cool. I mean,
it's amazing. Perfect.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
think back of all the trials and tribulations over the years, and I'll tell you one thing: the years have flown by quick. Like the fact that Cam has kind of been a part of us in one way or another from when the first time he came through. It was over a decade probably ago.
Wow.
Yeah, just about. We're getting
About
there.
a decade ago, pretty close to a decade since the first time Cam ever walked through our door. But and with Cam too, it's funny because like he mentioned before, like his brother started training with us and his mom, like, and all those values, like you see them through their whole family throughout. Mm-hmm. So like people that are going to be a great fit on the team. Same thing, John and even we got some new coaches that we just brought on. Yeah. Jameson's been with us for years. Jameson, who he's going to be leaving to go to the Army, but he started when I think he was in 8th grade. He started training with us. It made such a difference to him. He so believed in the mission. You get Jeremy, who came to us during COVID, a Division I athlete, and like had trained everywhere. And like, wow, this is just a different thing. Like, I want to be part of this. And I think even the newer guys like E and Vito and even Kyle and Nate and Nick, all these guys that are coming on, it's like they so believe in the mission. And when you have a team of people that believe in the mission, you can literally accomplish anything. I have no doubt we'll take over the whole entire South Coast.
Like
we're going to take over the schools. We're gonna make a difference because the mission is bigger, and we're going to keep grinding to that mission, and we're going to leave we're going to blazing trail for people behind.
I am happy to be a small spectator on that journey and just a staunch advocate to making sure and pushing it. So again, I appreciate this conversation. Where can people find you, or what should they do if they're interested in learning more about you?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, look us up on Google, right? Infinite Fitness, sportsperformance.com. All of our information is on there. Athlete testimonials, just about everything that you need to get familiar with us. And then if we're something that you want to take part of or find out more about, all of our information is on there on Google. Please reach out. We'd love to hear from everybody.
What I think would be really cool is you go to Google, you hear this from us here. Yeah. I always tell people, go to Google, read what other people have to say. I mean, read the reviews. I think we have almost, I don't know, close
to me.
150, 200 reviews, something like that on there. Go on there, read what other people have to say. I mean, I could sit here and tell you stories, but again, it's coming from us. And then I'd say, reach out. Come on down. Set up a meeting. We'll meet anybody that, if you call and mention this podcast, we do an in-depth evaluation. Like I said, we meet for an hour to an hour and a half. We get you up on a table. We're looking at your shoulders, your hips, everything. How do you move? Because what we know from a human standpoint is that if somebody doesn't move well in a controlled setting, they sure as hell are not going to move well under load, and then they're not going to move well fast. So we have to look at those movements in a controlled setting. So we'll sit in the office, we'll go over exactly what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Then we'll look at those movements. How do you move? Is there any mobility issues, stability, muscular imbalances, restrictions, all of those things. And then we'll put kind of the right plan together for you, and then we'll design it based upon your schedule and all of those things. So, I mean, if anybody mentions this podcast in there, we'll do that evaluation actually for free.
Okay, look at that. You guys are already getting a freebie.
Yeah. But you got to mention that. You have to mention this. Otherwise, you got to mention this. We'll build.
Hopefully we'll have a line out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Line out. It's been super busy. It's been a line out the door.
Slammed. Good for you.
It's been a line out the door. So we're doing a lot of good stuff in the community, which is.
I love that too. How involved you guys are in the community. You're doing so many good things all around. It's a pleasure truly to watch you both work and grow.
Thanks, brother. We love having you.
Yeah,
I'm a man of a lot of different quotes and things, but another thing I say all the time is you do enough good things for enough people, then good things happen for you. So we did a lot. As much as we hurt during COVID, we did so much free stuff for schools and stuff like that, and some of it's come full circle. It's come back. And
you have to give before you can expect.
That's right. You make the decision based upon, is this going to allow you to help more people? That's how Infinite's grown. This was never about making money. It was never about this is going to be a way to create income. This is a way to make a difference and leave this place better than we found it. And I think I can't say enough about the team that we have on board. And even Cam's gone from so quickly come up the ladder here and taken on such a big leadership role with the team and with the people that come through our door. And I'm telling you, the sky's the limit. Can't wait.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Listen, thank you both. I appreciate your time. If anyone wants to check them out, go on Google, call me up, text me. I'm happy to share my stories about it.
Infinite Fitness and Sports Performance. You can Google that, or ifsportsperformance.com, or Instagram at ifsportsperformance, or I think
like that. The Instagram is starting to get more out there. I like it.
We're working on that. We just talked about that yesterday in a meeting.
Yeah.
We're doing baby steps. We're not experts by any means. So
it's all learning curve.
Got to get better.
You guys are experts in the fitness realm.
Relentless pursuit of excellence in all areas. Well-rounded is what we're working on.
Core value, baby. Core value.
I like it. All right. Thank you both.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.